Bitcoin is approaching $46,000, everybody. Just absolutely crazy moves in Bitcoin over the past couple of days. We can see here that both of these resistance lines that I've put in here at 44,200 and now at 44,500 have been completely destroyed. It's pushed above both of those levels, and now we're starting to see Bitcoin attempt to go through the resistance line here at 46,500. Just insane, folks. We've seen some massive Bitcoin volume over the past couple of days. In fact, on the daily right now, we're looking at an RSI that's almost 70. So Bitcoin is almost overbought on the daily. And I've got some absolutely fantastic news for you guys today. Thank you for joining me. I am Cody the Coin Raptor, and we're going to go ahead and get right into it. So Michael Saylor of MicroStrategy recently announced that they have acquired 850 more Bitcoin for $37 million and now hold 190,000 Bitcoin. Okay, this is important. We're going to come back to this later. So MicroStrategy went through their earnings report, and I want to go ahead and talk about that real quick because they put out some very important information on here. If you go through on their website and you look at their press releases, you can see it yourself. But they had 190,000, as I said earlier. They acquired it for an average price of 33,580, so well into the green right now. And they also have announced themselves as the first Bitcoin development company. Okay, so from now, it looks like they're going to be trying to develop more on the Bitcoin blockchain, and they're going to be using some AI-powered enterprise analytics software. Okay, so they're going to be pushing for hopefully some new products to create on the Bitcoin blockchain, pushing for that adoption on Bitcoin, and also spreading the word about this fantastic asset. Now, I also want to go ahead and talk about something that I found on their presentation that's very important as well. They actually go down here and they have this cool little chart here saying basically how much they would benefit from Bitcoin at certain price levels. Now, they give out the current price as of a couple days ago, which is when they released this. They give out the $69,000, $100,000, and then $250,000. Now, the way I read this chart, it doesn't exactly say that, but the way I read this chart is that this is the median or the base case. This 69K, this is the bear case, and then $250,000, that's the bull case. Now, I do think if you could read between the lines, you can see here that MicroStrategy is projecting for a base case where Bitcoin is valued at $100,000. And a bullish case of Bitcoin being valued at $250,000. Now, I actually don't think that this is too outside of the realm of possibility. Not like some other people have called for Bitcoin to be worth millions and millions of dollars, but I do think this is actually fairly feasible, 250K. And it seems like MicroStrategy wouldn't have even put this on their press release if they didn't think that this was a possibility, or at the very least, the bull case with $100,000 being the median case. Okay, so I want to go back to the price action that we've seen over the past couple of days. Now, I tweeted on X earlier that there is a large liquidity level here at about 43,600, about $530 million worth of short liquidity at that level, and it seems as though we have actually breached that level. If we take a look at our liquidity heat map, we can see here this level was the level I was talking about. As soon as Bitcoin breaches that level, it is off to the races. It went right through that level, 43,600, and pushed higher and higher and higher and higher. And if you take a look at our futures contracts, you can see here that we had massive short liquidations over the past couple of hours here. Both today and yesterday, we saw massive liquidations here. So in short, the reason why Bitcoin's running right now is a combination of factors. One of those factors is that shorts are getting destroyed again, okay? Shorts just cannot help themselves. They're coming in here. They're picking these battle lines, like I said, about 43,600, and they're putting their stop losses there. And as soon as Bitcoin goes above them, they're forcibly liquidated, and the prices go higher. These shorts are not going to give up. I don't think that the shorts are just going to call it a day. They're going to pack it up. I really don't think that's going to be the case. Instead, they're going to go ahead and they're going to try again, and they're going to probably wind up putting their their levels here, that stop loss here at about 47K or so, because that's where Bitcoin has found previous resistance. Okay, so they're going to be looking at those levels. They're going to be putting in for setting a mental note of, hey, listen, I don't want to go this. I don't want Bitcoin to go higher than this level. Otherwise, I have forced liquidations, and we get another short squeeze if Bitcoin can push above 47K. And I do think that this is possible in the near term. Now that we've seen strength, now that we've seen confirmation of these breakouts, it's very possible we can hit 47K again and maybe even go all the way up here to $49,000. That, ladies and gentlemen, would absolutely be amazing for Bitcoin to just continue to power through ahead of the upcoming halving. Now, I thought Bitcoin was going to try to move sideways for a little bit, but instead we got a little bit of sideways action. We've seen, again, looking all the way back here since the beginning of December, we've basically seen sideways Bitcoin, and Bitcoin does not remain sideways for long. So I don't expect it's going to continue, especially with this price action we've seen here and this bullish momentum. Now we can build momentum into the $48,000, $49,000 region. Okay. Now I also want to go ahead and talk about spot ETFs, because this is another reason why the Bitcoin price has been flying. So CoinDesk put out this really interesting article lately about the fact that Bitcoin ETFs, apart from GBTC, now actually hold more Bitcoin than MicroStrategy does. So we just talked about how MicroStrategy holds 190,000 Bitcoin. These non-GBTC ETFs now hold 192,000 Bitcoin. Now remember, these have barely even been trading for less than a month. Barely. I mean, it's been pretty close. We would call it about a month or so, but in that time, they've accounted for about 192,000 Bitcoin worth of demand. Okay, just to put that into perspective, if you go ahead and take a look at the monthly charts for Bitcoin, we can see here that even in the biggest month that we've had in January or so, we've only had a volume of about 77,000 Bitcoin. So we're talking about a demand that is far in excess of a single month's worth of Bitcoin volume. Okay, and so that's one of the reasons why we've seen Bitcoin push higher. And this doesn't seem like it's going to be slowing anytime soon. In fact, if we go ahead and take a look at this man I follow here on X, his name is Eric Balkunas. I hope I didn't butcher that, but he follows ETFs, okay, and he has some fantastic information about ETFs and those ETFs, especially IBIT. He's basically said here that after 1 month, they've increased their assets under management here by, in this case, over $3 billion for IBIT and FBTC. Okay, so those are two Bitcoin spot ETFs. Those are huge. Those are larger, basically, than any other ETFs under management. You can even see down here QQQ, which is pretty common for like the NASDAQ stocks. It's way even higher than that. And if you go down a little bit more, he actually has this great chart here where he puts out the number or the percentage of days with inflows as 100% for IBIT, and for the Fidelity Bitcoin ETF, 100% of days with inflows to their funds. Now, some of this can be people coming from GBTC for sure, but the fact is no other ETF really even comes close to that. 100%. So every single day they're getting people to buy into those ETFs, and then those holders, those trusts and those companies have to actually go and buy the Bitcoin every single time they get demand for those shares. So it's very interesting. Okay, we've been seeing this rapid acceleration of Bitcoin demand driven by Bitcoin spot ETFs, and I do think that because of this, I think we're well on our way to seeing a new Bitcoin high by the end of the year. Now, if you guys are curious about how much Bitcoin is held into each ETF, you can go over here to CryptoQuant and go to CQ Julio, and he has a whole list of the Bitcoin in each one of these ETFs. Now, at the top here, no surprise, Grayscale at 470,000 Bitcoin. They still hold the largest amount of Bitcoin on record. But watch for BlackRock, watch for Fidelity. Just be aware that if you guys are selling your Bitcoin, you're selling it to BlackRock, you're selling it to Fidelity, you're selling it to ARK 21 shares, or you're selling it to Grayscale. These guys have come in, these whales have come in, and they've been buying Bitcoin like crazy. If we go ahead and take a look at the exchange reserve, which is the number of Bitcoin on exchanges, we can see here that it's actually hit a new monthly low. Now, if we back this out about a year, we have yet to see the bottom yet that we made back in December of last year, but we're actually getting fairly close to that. Another 20,000 Bitcoin or so that leaves the exchanges, and then we'll hit a new low for the Bitcoin exchange reserves. So amazing things are happening in Bitcoin right now. We're seeing huge adoption, rapid adoption, and we're seeing huge demand from these traditional players for Bitcoin. It's only a matter of time before more people get drawn in and learn about Bitcoin and see what a fantastic asset it is. And at least if they decide not to custody the asset themselves, they'll go out and buy these ETFs, and that will cause them to then buy Bitcoin. So let me know what you guys think about this. Do you think that MicroStrategy is going to be basically outplayed by the various ETFs, or would you prefer to own the ETFs over, say, a MicroStrategy? Leave a comment below, and I'll catch you guys in the next video.